Great day, everyone. Great day, everyone. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Overnight Success Podcast. I'm your host, Diamond McNulty, founder and CEO of McNulty International, creator of the Success Club, author of How to Become a Successful Young Man, Woman, 12 Things Entrepreneurs Should Pray For, and Success Recovery. And you know, here on the Overnight Success Podcast, we're here to do one thing and one thing only. That's to empower high schoolers and college students to focus on success and succeed in life. And hopefully in the process, we inspire some adults as well. But today, on this episode of the Overnight Success Podcast, I'm extremely excited, right? We got a special gentleman that is going to come in here, not only just to encourage the youth, right? But equip them with some tools to be successful and overcome any obstacles that they may find and come across in their journey, right? So he is a justice tech innovator. He's a speaker, the founder and CEO of PCONN app, and that app helps families connect with incarcerated loved ones. I'm excited to bring him in. Come on in, Michael Marshall. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Awesome to be here. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm outstanding. Thank you for
Looking
joining
good.
us inside of the boardroom. You're looking great yourself too. Today is so special, right? Because we get a chance to have a conversation just to not only empower the youth but equip them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Before we even get started, is there anything you want to share with our audience?
I'm just happy to be here. I thank you for being on here, and everything that you got going on, all your success. It's a pleasure. It's a blessing to be able to, grace this podcast with you. So, I'm just ready to dive in.
I love it. I love it. So let's take it back. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning, right? So before we even get to the current state, give us a little bit of your background, your upbringing, born and raised, family dynamics, all of those good details.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. B-more. It's rough city. Everybody who know about Baltimore, they know. I was a single parent home. My mom raised me. My grandparents helped me. I got two sisters, an older sister and a younger sister. Pretty much we typical inner city family. Going through the same struggles that the inner city families go through. Just upbringing was kind of tough and rough, and just in the city navigating through life and trying to figure it out. So that's been around a whole bunch of crime, violence, inner city stuff.
That's interesting. Same thing here in Chicago, but it's unique because it really doesn't. Even though you were born there, it's always funny how no matter where you started from, that's not where you can always have to end up. Right?
Absolutely, no. You don't have to be a product of your environment at all. You don't have to be.
That is true. Now, give us a little bit of insight to your schooling. How was grammar school, high school? What kind of student were you?
I was a great student. I wasn't an A-B student. I was maybe a C-D student. But I did enough to get by. I did enough to get by. I made sure that I passed. Math and science was my favorite subject. I was aspiring to be a mechanical engineer. I was taking things apart at the age of 4 or 5 years old. I would get some toys and break them down and see how they work. I was always interested in the inner workings of things. So that's what the mechanical engineer dreams came from. And I wanted to, learn mechanically what make things tick, what make things work, what make things operate. So, but by the time I got to high school, things took a turn. My mom left me when I was right in the 10th grade. So that kind of deterred me from the mechanical engineering aspect and sent me down a different path. And
that's interesting. That's interesting that you mentioned that, because here you are, you're a young man, you're loving what you're doing, you had your eyes on becoming something in life, but an obstacle came about, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So at that time, you said you were 10th grade, right?
10th grade, yeah, about 15 years old.
Give us some insight into that. Like, where were you at as far as a student? How was your environment at that time? And did you have any mentors?
Not at that time. I was, just getting average grades in school. And I had just really recently got accepted into an engineering school in Baltimore, which is Mercantile at the time. It was one of the top engineering high schools. And, although everything just shifted from that point. So coming home to an empty house, not knowing what really happened, it's as a young kid, as a teenager, you really, so many things go through your mind, like what happened, what's going on, and then when you realize what happened, now you got the why. Like, why was I left? Why did I had to go through this? Or why was I this, the person that had to be left, and why I can't, So once you get through the why, it's the how. Now it's like how I'm gonna survive. And then once you get to that, once you come up with a concept of how to survive, you just you execute. You just go into survival mode. And that's kind of what
Yeah.
happened. So you're more focused on surviving and less focused on the future, because now the future is tomorrow, not 10 years down the line when I want to be an engineer. Every day is the future. Tomorrow, okay, what I'm gonna eat tomorrow, when I'm gonna sleep tomorrow, how I'm gonna survive tomorrow. So you just living day by day, and you trying to figure it out. So that's where the mind shift comes at. When you had to shift your mind from one aspect to another aspect. You go from living, being a daily student, going to school, coming home, book bag on your back, jolly, cracking jokes, to like, oh man, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So it
And
was a shot.
I can only imagine too, right? Because there's different dynamics for all of our youth too. But those students that are going through the similar things, right? They may come home, it may be certain different types of challenges and things that they have to overcome. But as you mentioned, there was something crucial that you mentioned. You said you may think to yourself, why did this happen? But then you shift it into how and what I got to do next. Right?
Exactly.
Walk us through that next year or two and how you navigated that.
Well, the next year it was more so survival mode. So survival mode, most young Black youth, you turn to the streets because the streets are your mentors. It seemed like the people in the streets is making money. So now you like, okay, well, what I got to do this? How can I get down? Like you get real curious about something that you probably was never curious about, because you were just, going to school, coming home. But now the shift in the atmosphere and the changing event was detrimental to your decision making. So now you're gonna make decisions based on survival and not based on calculated thought. Now it's like, okay, how can I make money? Money becomes your goal. Like, I need to eat, I need to survive, I need the necessities. How can I make it? So the next year I learned, the game basically. It's what we know as the game. And the same attentiveness I gave to my education, I gave learning the game. I wanted to be good at it, and I wanted to know how to get away with it. That's the thing, because it's not something you're supposed to be doing. So the first thing you got to learn how to do is get away. So, I kind of just studied the craft of running. Like, okay, if the police pull up, this was where I'm gonna run. They ain't gonna be able to catch me. You learn track real fast. If you never ran track, you learn to run track. So you learn how to make money. You learn how to be an athlete. You just all the streets teach you a whole bunch of things. So that was the next year, just a learning curve, going from a schoolboy to now I'm in the streets, and the streets it's tough.
And when you think about that too, even just looking back, what advice would you give a high schooler now, right? Knowing what you know now, that may be going through similar situations.
Oh man, just stay the course, stay focused. It's difficult. I can't say it's easy, because when you go through something that's such a dramatic change, your mind cuts off that part of your brain where you're thinking rational, because you're in survival mode. People in survival mode don't think rational. There's no taking time to think rational. So I would just ask you to just, calm down, focus, stay focused, and just use all your inner strength to stay on the path that you're on. Don't let it stray you, because if it stray you, then it gets harder. It gets way harder when you stray. It's easier to stay on course and deal with that hardness than to stray and deal with that hardness, because it's a different level of hardness when you stray.
Hello, my name is Diamond McNulty, and I want to welcome you to the McNulty International Success Club, where we help youth and adults create their personal success plans to achieve their dreams in life. Visit McNultyInternational.com today
and register. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of y'all inside the boardroom.
2 roads, right? What path are we gonna
Yeah,
choose?
which path you gonna choose? You can choose the hard road, and you
Yeah,
can choose the harder road, because both of them are hard. Staying there
yeah,
and keeping your focus on trying to do the right thing, and all these things, life-changing events is happening in your life. You're trying to stay that focused, but then if you stray, that's hard too, and it's harder. It's a harder road, and it's a longer road. So yes, it's
that
definitely
is,
a longer road, because you have to come back around. It's like if you stay on a straight path, you'll get where you're trying to get to quicker. But if you stray, you got to come all the way back around to get on that straight path.
yeah,
So
yeah. So
you're
you
going to
just took
waste more
yourself
time
all the way out of the way.
all the way out of the way,
Mm,
just to come back and get on that straight path.
God, I mean, that is so important. So I hope you catch that, right? Stay the course. No matter what
Stay the course.
challenges, no matter what obstacles that you're going to face, stay the course. No matter what you're going to go through, just stay the course. Now, what I love is you've already understood what your passions were, right? You already knew mechanical engineer.
Oh
So
yeah,
here you
yeah.
are, right? With the different challenges that came about. Of course, you go down a different pathway, but that was still inside of you. So give us some
Yes, yeah.
insight onto how you navigated the street life, and then how did you become who you are today? Give us some insight into that.
Well, the street life, of course, is short lived. We all know how the street life ended up. Luckily for me, I ended up with a second chance. Sometimes, in the street, you don't get a second chance. Death ain't no coming back from it. Prison, you can come back from unless you catch a life sentence, but even still, you still can motivate people to not do the same thing. But I was, blessed, I would say, to get a second chance, and I went to prison. And when I went to prison is when things really, changed for me, and I opened up my mind, because prison is a different world. Again, it's a shift. You go from being free to now being controlled inside walls, and it's a hurry up and wait. Nothing is moving on your time. Absolutely nothing. I don't care how much you beg, plead, cry. Nothing. You have no control. So now
That's
you have
good.
to shift your mind again to that world and that environment. You get what I'm saying? So once you
Right.
shift your mind, then okay, your mind is shifted. Now you have to figure out, what are you going to do with your time? You have nothing but time. So either you're going to sit there and just waste it and wait to leave, or you're going to build yourself up. And when I say build yourself up, a lot of people go to prison, work out, get big, get buff. That's why, most people come from prison, they muscular, because that's what they do. They work out.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't work their mind. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to put the same workout on your body as you do on your mind. And what I say, you have to meditate and learn yourself, know yourself, reinvent yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn. One thing prison gonna teach you is respect. You'll learn respect real fast, either the hard way or the or the easy way. So once you learn respect, because that's the biggest thing that I see. That's the biggest issue with our youth. There's no respect. You don't respect the older. You don't respect the elder. You don't respect the people that's trying to teach you something. No one knows anything. Can't nobody tell you anything. So there's no respect. You don't respect the guidance. So in prison, you're gonna respect somebody. And once you learn that, then you learn to respect yourself. And once you learn to respect yourself, then your transformation takes place. Because now you have the respect for others, you have the respect for yourself. Now you can just lock in on your mistakes. I didn't spend a lot of time grieving over my mistakes, though. The mistakes were made. You can go back. You can spend a lot of time grieving, like, man, I shouldn't have done this. If I did this different, that you taking too much time. Find you a mentor, because believe it or not, it's a lot of mentors in prison. You got people who got more time than you. You got people who, I was in there with a billionaire who was in there for securities fraud, and I would walk the track with him every morning, and he taught me a lot of lessons. He gave me a lot of free game. I'm just free, just walking hours and hours, just talking to him. And one of the lessons, basically, he taught me while we were walking, and he said, the only person who can stop you from being anything is you. You can get in your own way. So just get out the way. And it took me a while to realize what that meant. But get out your own way. Smooth. Just get out your way. If you get out your way, you can do your thing. So that was one of the biggest lessons he taught me. Get out your own way. And we be in our own way with our ego, our attitude, just everything to stop us from being successful or moving ahead. We be in our own way.
Yeah. And you know, the funny thing about it, you said that because here you are, right? You're going through prison, a totally different environment that you mentioned. But to our youth that are listening, right? As you mentioned, this is advice. If they stay on track, they don't have to be deterred and even have to deal with it. So we have to learn from the mistakes and all of the challenges and obstacles that others have went through so that we can move further, faster, right? Yeah. So that's the most important thing. So looking now, so you said it's about 10 years, right? 10.5,
yeah,
10 and a half years.
10 years, okay. 10 and a half years. And one of the things I do want to point out is I know some of the youth who's probably watching, because I thought the same way when I was in prison. Everyone tell us what to do, what not to do, take this path, give us this road, but no one ever give us options. That's what we don't have. So it's kind of like, okay, you can do this or you can do this, because people be like, okay, well, if your mom left you, you didn't have an option. Correct, because nobody gave me an option. If somebody would have presented an option, yeah, well, yeah, but it's like you have to have that person in your corner or a mentor to broaden those options and open your mind up, because you're, like I said, when you're in a panic mode, you're thinking one way. But if somebody grab you and say, look, you know what, you can do this, go down there and get a job, this, and you can do it. Nobody really put that in your head. So you're not thinking like that, especially as a teenager. You're just thinking, look, this happened to me. I got a chip on my shoulder. I don't care.
Right. Wow. So in prison is when all of that kind of went off. And now you say, I'm going to lock in, forget about dwelling on the mistakes. And here I am now, and 10 and a half years later. Let's talk about, so you're connecting with billionaires, you're getting some insight, you're working on yourself. You must have got out and you was hungry. Talk to me about the mindset.
When I started, I was picked up in 2013. By 2015, 2 years in, I had a journal. I had a journal, and I wrote in that journal every day. Every day, what I was feeling, what I was thinking, and I would get visitations. So after the visitation, I felt human again. I felt loved. I felt appreciated. So I would go around and, just be so happy. And all the guys were like, man, you always happy and smiling, man. We in prison. I'm like, man, look, I just got a visit. I just say, my folks. So I got hope. But a lot of people didn't have that same story. A lot of people didn't have it. A lot of people couldn't get to them. They didn't have cars. Their mom didn't have cars. Their girlfriends didn't have cars. So I started writing in my prison notebook a way to change that. For my significant other at the time, I would just bounce ideas off her, and I would just write it in the notebook. And then I came up with a concept and was like, okay, well, when you come see me, go pick up his grandmother, his mother, his girl, and then bring them with you. So she would do that, bring them, and then once the word got around, people would just come to my cube and be like, hey, is your girl coming this weekend? You think she can get my aunt? And then it got to the point where we were booked. And I was like, man, we don't have nothing available to, like, in the next 2 months. Like, she could do it like it might have been January. She could do it in April. So we set it up in April. So
that is awesome.
I just sit down and just, man, I journal. I tell teenagers now, write your thoughts down. Write your thoughts down. Everything that you're thinking, good, the bad, the ugly, write them down, because it's a way to organize them once you read back. Because I was just writing stuff down. And then when I went back and flipped through my pages and started reading, I was like, I can create something with this. Yeah. And then I just looked at Uber, and I seen Uber because the Uber it was out, but I didn't know about it before I went in. It didn't get real big till like 15. So I seen that they were, taxi, and then I was like, wow, okay, so I can be the Uber for prison visitations. I can bring people that's already coming. I can incentivize them to get paid for coming to do something that they're already coming to do anyway. So if you come in alone, sell 3 seats in your vehicles. Now you're making money to come see your brother, your cousin, your boyfriend, your auntie, your uncle. Now you're making money for doing it. So I just strategically just started writing those ideas down. And when I got out, all I had was that notebook. I mean, when I was leaving, when you leave in prison, you're so excited, you just leave everything. I didn't leave that notebook.
Oh, you said it's coming with me.
It's coming with me. This is coming with me. So when I got out, I had that notebook, and it was just like I just took it. And you have to breathe life in your ideas.
Yeah,
you have to breathe life in them. Because if you keep them to yourself, then it's hard for God to put the people around you to make it happen. I don't know anything about developing an app. I didn't know the first thing about the coding and technology. But what I did know about is I had an idea that I was passionate about, and I talked about it to everybody I came in contact with. And the people was like, I know a developer. Hey, I know somebody who do this. I know somebody who do that. Call them. And just put the team together. So you have to breathe life in it by speaking it. Just speak it. Talk about it as if it's already there. And it's gonna happen.
That's how it works. And it starts with that idea. And it's funny how you mentioned it too, because to our youth that are watching, that's 3 steps, right? It goes in theoretical, but then it goes, you got to take it from theoretical, which is in your mind, and you got to write it down, like you're saying, practically, and then create that go forward plan. That's that's a simple formula: theoretical, practical, go forward plan. If you can do that, then you can bring anything to life. Continue to make that happen. What are some other books and resources that you've read or come across that have helped you get it all out?
Oh man, The Secret was one of my favorite by Rhonda Byrne. The Secret, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, The Millionaire Next Door. Those were my go-tos. The Secret is my favorite because it taught me the law of attraction. How to speak things in existence, which the Bible teaches you that. I mean, when I grew up in the church, so it's just like you just listen to it in a different manner. You hear it in a different manner, but the law of attraction is real. I mean, what you put out there, if you say you broke, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be broke. If you say you sick, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be sick. Don't speak nothing negative. Even if you're not feeling it, because you have to give the law of attraction something to grab onto. So that book helped me, because all I kept saying when I was locked up is I'm free. That's it. I just kept saying I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. And finally, I was able to get out after 10 years. But freedom for me wasn't just my body, because my body was in prison. It was when I was able to free my mind from being in there. And it didn't feel like I was able to get through my time easier. So your freedom starts here. Once you free your mind, it's I mean, the possibilities are endless, because you could be anywhere in your mind. Nothing can stop you from being anywhere. I would lay on the grass in the rec yard and I'm out on the beach. Sun just beaming on me. And my friends will be walking the track and they'll be like, Mike, where you at right now? Man, I'm in Cancun.
Yes.
So it was a way just to escape. You can't, no one can trap your thoughts or trap your mind. So your freedom starts in your mind. Don't look at your circumstances. And I learned that when I was left as a teenager. So when I came home, I used to have to be in the house by myself, and I was just there. I would just, sit on the floor, put my back against the wall, close my eyes, and just take my mind where I wanted to be, and I wanted to be wherever my mom was at the time. And eventually we came back together. So.
Wow. It's something that you said that stood out. I got to touch on, right? Because it's 2 parts. One is giving yourself a second chance. You mentioned that at the beginning, and then now you're talking about it, and then not dwelling on what happened, because you were getting released, but you grabbed that notebook and you ran out and you ran after your dreams, right? You didn't dwell on all of this and all of that. How did you overcome that thought? Because sometimes the world don't give you a second chance, even if you have a second chance.
Yeah. I practice meditation. It's hard to do. It's real hard to do. So I just got some books on learning how to meditate, because if you clear your mind, if you clear out your thoughts and you learn the master of controlling your thoughts, oh man, the possibilities are endless, because we are the maker of our own misery. We think so much, and what we think don't even be that serious. Like, it's just we're thinking it. It don't be that. So, and then your brain operates like you're gonna get whatever emotions and feelings that you have from those thoughts. It's not even a thing. It's not even something that's actually happening. It's what you thinking that's making you feel how you're feeling. So if you can change your thinking, then you're gonna change how you feel. So that's I just mastered my thinking. I mastered my thinking. I tried not to think anything negative. I tried all positive thoughts, because when you think positive, you get those positive feelings. You get happy. So you think happy thoughts, you're gonna feel happy. But if you think negative thoughts and depressing thoughts, then your body you're gonna lose energy, and your body gonna feel like not trying or giving up. Or so you have to change your thinking and learn to master your own thoughts. Because again, you're the maker of your own misery. No one can put the thoughts in your head and make you think them but you.
Yeah, right. That emotional intelligence, that emotional fortitude, all
Emotional
of those things
intelligence.
you got to practice. So,
Absolutely.
so you're getting into business, right? What was some of the biggest challenges that you faced? Because now you're out, you got this idea,
Oh
you're trying
man.
to bring it to life, right?
It's
Walk us
that
through that.
tag. When you got that F on you, when you got that F on you, that felon, and all the youth that's listening, it's not easy being a felon, making it doing anything, because you're labeled for life. It's like you have so much to overcome. First of all, if you a young black man, you have to overcome being black. That's one door you gotta get through. You be like, boom, okay, I made it through this door, breaking down racial barriers. Now you got another door. You got a felon. Oh man, now I gotta convince these people that I'm not who I was or who society say I am. So I have to, and you have to have the chance for people to look at you in their own light. So that's tough. My biggest challenges was just getting people to ignore the fact that I was in prison. I came out of prison, and just look at me for me. Look at me for my abilities. Look at me for my confidence. Look at me for my perseverance. The things that I bring to the company, things that I bring to society, and look at me for that. Don't look at me because a lot of people wanted to focus. Oh, well, what did you do? How was it? I mean, a lot of people wanted to focus on the prison aspect. Hey, listen, I'm here for something else. And if you want to
Yeah,
hear that story another time, but I'm here trying to present PCONN to you. I don't really want to
yeah,
talk about what I did. I mean, that's
yeah,
why it's called dead, because it's in the past.
yeah.
So it's
You are
like
not
the
what
challenges.
you're not who you were in the past, right?
Yeah. That's over with. So let's talk about
Hmm.
why I'm here. Let's talk about PCONN. But it is a challenge trying to get people to overlook that felony aspect, and the fact that you've been in prison. So that's why most conversations I lead with it. I'm gonna lead with that immediately, because I don't want you to find out on the back end and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna lead with it
Mm.
immediately. I'm gonna let you get the ahs and oohs out the way, and then we can go ahead and get the business. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give you that off the rip. Here you go. Yeah, I did 10 and a half years in prison, but however,
Yeah.
this is what I'm offering. This is my experience. This I learned from it. So yeah, that's a challenge. It's still a challenge, even when it comes to funding, because it's like no one wants to give a bunch of money to a person that been in prison,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, so you kind of just have to deal with the nose and the people looking at you, and then again, that's your mind. You can't worry about how people view you, because if you
Good
try to
point.
worry about how people view you, you're gonna become someone other than yourself.
Yeah.
So just stay the course and stay yourself. Be true to who yourself. Somebody is going to honor, respect, and love who you are, and the honesty that you bring, letting everybody know who you are. So that's just something that I face even now. People just judging. It's the judgment mental part people put on me, being my background.
Well, you like you said, once you get through it and you become strong enough, you can honestly deal with mostly anything because
Yeah.
it's what happened already in the past. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone is a no from the beginning, then okay, next. No means
Next,
next
that's it.
opportunity,
That's
right? No
it. That's
means
all no
next
mean.
opportunity. I need people to really understand that. So here on the Overnight Success Podcast, I like to tell our youth that nothing just happens overnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it happens by you sometimes putting in that work overnight. Now, what
Overnight.
were some of those overnight moments where you said, I have to burn the oil, I can't, I got to keep going?
Well, there's 365 days in a year. So you got to think I did 3,650 days in prison. So
Yeah.
at least 2,500 nights of that 3,000 and some change, I was up at night. Nighttime in prison for me was the best because everyone's asleep and it's quiet. Prisons are noisy. You have so many conversations going on. You have so many arguments going on. You have so many debates going on. Who's better, LeBron or Kobe? Jordan or LeBron? I mean, that's all you hear. I had this when I was home, and it's just so much going on. So daytime, I kind of used to just go outside, play basketball. Nighttime, when everybody's asleep, that's when I was up writing in my journal. Buy a book like from the commissary, put my back against the wall, sit on my bunk, and just think. And so those nights were the time I was journaling. I was really writing in the book, writing in my prison book, just creating because it's quiet. It's quiet. So you at nighttime is the best time to really just focus and lock in. But I was up many nights, and then some nights you have no choice but to be up because in the middle of the night people hollering, screaming, arguing. It's just so much going on. So
You
and
have to,
prison is oh man, it's like you don't have privacy. There's no privacy in prison. Like you can't get away from nobody. Like nobody. You're in the bathroom, you're in the shower. It's 7 showers, and you're in the shower with people. I mean, they have a little brick wall. The toilet stools is 7 of them down the road. You have no privacy, none. There's nothing you can get away from. So at night is when you really get your privacy. You in a room like I had a cellie. Sometimes it's 3-man to a room. Sometimes it's 6 men to a room. So no privacy, none.
no privacy.
None.
Mm. So
Um,
so so even now with that, right? How do you balance personal life and business now? Because you had to come back. Like, how's the family dynamics? And then now you got these ideas and all of this stuff that you bring to life. How did you balance that? Because starting a business is not
oh man,
always easy.
it's you always. I tell people starting a business, you always gonna be starting a business because each day you start something new. Each day is something new. Each day it's if you learn something new, it's a fresh start. So how I balance it basically is, I have 4 kids. So you know, I talk to them about the business. I talk to them about their day, give them their time and just try to include them in every aspect of my life. When something happens, I'll send the articles, I'll send everything so they can be involved in things like that. But my kids basically know and understand that, dad's on a mission. I'm trying to leave a legacy. So I'm not always going to be around. Sometimes I'm going to be gone. Sometimes I got to go. Sometimes I'm going to be gone, but I'm always going to be here. Like phone call, you can pick up the phone, call me. I'm going to give you the best advice and teaching my kids to really be self-sufficient because I'm not always going to be here. So, I mean, in one way or another. So you have to learn to be self-sufficient. So, but it's a balance. So when I can spend time with them, I spend time with them. Yeah, I have 3 girls and 1 boy. So,
Love
my
it.
son is 26. My oldest daughter is 24. Then I have 18 and 16. So, but when I left, my kids were 3, 5, 12, and 14. So
Mm.
it was like seeing them grow up while you're in prison was tough. You got to watch your kids grow up from prison, and you got to try to be a dad from prison over a phone. So imagine just trying to tell somebody to stay out of trouble over the phone. and you can't really show the expression in your face, but you just got to make your voice stern enough to, like,
Yeah.
but then when you realize Dad can't get to me, it's like, okay, let me just do what I want to do
Right.
anyway. So it's tough,
Yeah.
just trying to raise your kids from prison, and then you get home and have to rebuild your relationship,
Yeah.
because you miss so many detrimental years of their lives. So you have to come home and you have to get to know them all over again.
Yeah.
So, but that balance is I tell everybody, starting a business requires a lot of time, and then raising kids requires a lot of time. So it's only 24 hours in a day, so you got to figure that out. You can't
Right.
get more time. You can't add more time, and then you got to sleep. You
Right.
got to
That's why
sleep.
we work.
So,
That's why we do it double time.
exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
so here we are right now with PCONN app, right? So
Mhm.
what is your vision for the app? Like, what do you envision for the business, and what do you hope to achieve with it?
Okay, so the app itself, just speaking in the direction of the app, I have big plans for PCONN. The reason why I just called it PCONN and not Prison Connect is because the app is going to be so much bigger than just prisons. I'm starting with prisons because prisons seem like the most cliche uh, thing to do when you driving people. So, but PCONN actually stands for Prison Connect, People Connect, Place Connect. So not only we want to be able to take you to a prison to see your loved one, but we want to be able to take you to concerts, games. Like if you're a Falcon fan, you know how many people come from different places, or how many Falcon fans go to Carolina to a game, but they don't want to fly. They don't want to get on a bus. They don't want to. So Pecan, we link you with other fans just going to the game. You can pay for a seat in their vehicle. Y'all ride together and come back together. So that's the overall goal for Pecan from the rideshare aspect. From the technology aspect, is I want to buy space in the metaverse and build a virtual visitation room so parents can interact with their kids. Incarcerated parents, you can put the virtual reality goggles on, create an avatar, and you can interact with your kids at home, because kids are knowing technology and it's growing. So if we build a virtual visitation room that's just virtual for all prisons, and you can meet your kid in a visitation room, interact with them through avatar, kind of like a Roblox thing.
That is awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so right now, Pecan has been up and running for about how long?
2 years now. 2 years. So we,
Okay.
we soft launched in Texas and Pennsylvania. The response was overwhelming. We
Mm,
had more ride requests than drivers. So I scaled it back and just put the Georgia prisons on there. So we
okay.
can just focus on the Georgia prisons, Georgia drivers, and the Georgia campaign. Let's just have
Yeah.
one, because if Texas here, Pennsylvania here, Georgia here is like, it's just all over the place, and I'm trying to get
Yeah.
drivers all over the place. So let's
Yeah.
just focus here in Georgia where we're located, and then we'll expand from there.
I love it.
So
And
it's
sometimes
challenging, though. It's challenging, but
but
we're
that's
going to
how it works too.
yeah.
It's really landing and expanding. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad that you said that too, because sometimes, of course, even though we see the big vision, right? Sometimes it's one at a time,
Yeah.
and we
One at a
continue to
time.
grow. So
At a time.
I'm excited for all that you're doing, and what legacy do you hope to leave behind as an entrepreneur, and just in general, as a father, as a family man, like just in
Oh
general.
man, so all of it really go hand in hand.
Mhm.
As someone who's been abandoned, my goal, and that's why my slogan is keeping families connected. Because I want to keep people connected. I want people to stay connected because we have strength in numbers. So the legacy I want to leave behind is a building of family, whether it be your blood or whether it just be a bunch of people. And I want to be able to always keep people connected, because we just lose touch with the connectivity of our generation. When you grow up, you lose your cousins. The cousin you used to see every day. Everyone is everywhere. So
Yeah.
I like to keep the connection in the homes, and keep the families connected, and keep people connected in
Hmm.
in all races. Just keep the connection, because the connection is what builds for our next generation.
Yes.
I grew up in a house with a large family, so it was like, we was always connected. And then as you get older, and then we have kids, it's like things just start spreading out more and more and more and more and more. And I want to bring that old school, old fashioned connection back. So,
Yeah.
I like to just leave the legacy of keeping families connected. At all times, at all costs, just keep everything connected.
I love that. And that requires being intentional and exactly what you're doing, by, acting on that idea, because I can already imagine just all of the families that you've impacted and the ones that you're going to impact in the near future. Right. So
Mhm.
thank you. I appreciate you for sharing
Oh
your
man,
journey,
thank you,
Michael.
thank you, thank
And
you,
this is
thank you
awesome.
for having me.
This is
I hope I
awesome.
inspire some people, man. Just stay focused, stay the course, and just keep
Yeah.
going. Don't give up, no matter what. Don't quit, and don't stray, because it's a longer process. It's a longer process when you stray.
Stay the course. Any other last minute words that you want to share with our audience?
Um, that's it. I appreciate everybody watching in. You can check me out on impcon.com. Go check out the app, themichaelmarshall.com. You can check me out, read my stories. The stories up there on the website if you want to read more about the story and me and my missions and everything that I believe in and stand for. And just thank everybody for their support. And man, thank you again.
Awesome. Well, keep up the great work. Let's take over the world. I see y'all next time, everyone. We'll see y'all inside of the boardroom, okay? Take care.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right.